My name's Angelo, and welcome to the greatest research tool that has ever been released. And while that sounds dramatic, I promise you, everything I'm about to walk you through on the data analyzer is going to blow your socks off. If you don't know what the data analyzer is, you're in luck. I'm about to walk you through all of it, how to use it, how to interact with it, and why it is so impressive. The data analyzer is the latest and greatest tool added to premium membership. If you're already a premium member, you have full access to the data analyzer and nobody is touching your price. If you're not a premium member, you can become one now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member, and you will have full access to every single thing on that website for only $10 an entire month. The data analyzer, as I mentioned, is the latest and greatest tool that we have added to premium membership. It is a custom-built tool. The same gentleman who developed our artificial intelligence built this tool from scratch, coded this tool from scratch. And I know I started this off with a very dramatic claim that it's the greatest research tool in the world. I am not exaggerating. Everything you could ever want or need is right here in this tool. All of the data points, the graphs, the charts, you can sort, you can interact with it, you can use filters, and then if you click on one of these little buttons, you can jump right into the video and watch the fight yourself. You click this button, it will take you out to Fight Pass. It'll take you out to ESPN. It'll take you out to where that video is so you can watch it with your own eyes. This is everything from the data analytics to a graphing tool to a fight hub to a tape study. It is everything in one single tool on this one page. If you are a premium member, to get to the data analyzer, just go to Tools and click on Data Analyzer. Again, if you're not a premium member, go to WeWantPicks.com and become one. Once you click on Data Analyzer, it may take 5-6 seconds to load. And that's because this is bringing in an enormous amount of data so that you can interact with it and you can filter through not just this event, but many events in the future. I am filming this on July 23rd. So we obviously have UFC 304 this weekend, but I have data built out all the way through September 7th. Multiple months, many events worth of data in the tool ready to go. The first thing you're going to do is select the event that you want to break down. If I do want to go to UFC Abu Dhabi next week, I click one button. Here's every single fighter on that card. But let's go ahead and stick with UFC 304. We're going to go to our fighter. Let's say Belal Muhammad. As soon as I click Belal Muhammad, all of the fighter information is updated. We're going to get his nickname, who his opponent is, obviously Leon Edwards. We're going to get his current record, the record in the last 5, his age, his weight, his height, his reach, his stance, whether it's orthodox or southpaw, and the camp he is in. What you see here is parentheses next to his numbers, meaning Belal Muhammad is 23-3, while his opponent, Leon Edwards, is 22-3. Belal Muhammad's age is 36. His opponent is 32. Belal Muhammad's reach is 72. His opponent is 74. All of that data is right here. If we move to the right, you're going to get even more stats. You're going to get striking stats, grappling stats. If I expand this how to read the fighter info menu here, you're going to get a full key, a guide walking you through what these acronyms mean. So for example, SSLPM stands for significant strikes landed per minute. APM is allowed per minute. Significant strike accuracy is here. Significant strike defense is here. Takedowns allowed, takedowns given, takedown accuracy. All of that data is right here with the opponent data right next to it. Green means good, red means bad. For example, significant strikes allowed per minute, 3.64, 2.75 on the other side. If we work our way down, we will see the data filters and the graphing mechanism. So for example, this pull down chart here, it says significant strikes. If I want to look at total strikes, takedowns, control time, submission attempts, knockdowns, or reversals, I have all of that data. But let's take a look at takedowns. This is Belal Muhammad after all. Right off the rip, it just averages takedowns. So we have 1.889 takedowns on average per fight for Belal Muhammad. But let's say I want to see it per 15 minutes, not for an entirety of a fight. Well, it's 1.814 because I selected this convert to rate. And if we look here on the axis of the chart, takedowns per 15 minutes. If I unselect that, we'll go to the total of the fight. But what I can do now is I can filter this down. Let's say I'm thinking about this fight. Well, Bilal Muhammad is fighting Leon Edwards. And the takedown prop bet that is available to me at my sportsbook is 2. Well, I see it's 1.889 on average. But you know what? Some of those fights ended early. That fight includes the eye poke in their first fight. Let me click on by outcome and I'll say decision. I think this fight goes to a decision. Well, now that kicks out a new number. So now Bilal Muhammad is averaging 2.231 takedowns in decision fights. Now, if I want to say, what about decision losses? I don't think he's going to win this fight. Well, that brings it back down to 1 takedown on average in decision losses. And you get the idea here. I can fully filter any one of these data points. And as I do that, this chart will update. And as this chart updates, we're going to get these little dots. So one of these fights was a loss to Jeff Neal. And I can see all that information that I'm hovering over this dot. It was a loss to Jeff Neal. It was a unanimous decision loss in a 3-round fight. It was at welterweight. It was at the Cejudo versus Dillashaw fight night. The referee was Todd Anderson, and I have my judges' scorecard. Sal D'Amato, 28-29. Eric Colon, 27-30. Tim Corrado, 27-30. And then that last statistic there says points on scorecards. You guys hear us talk a lot about betting the spread, the -3.5s, the +3.5 bets. Well, this is the spread. So in this case, if you bet +3.5, you wouldn't have made it because the score ended up being -3.5. But let's say I want to see this fight. Okay, I know Jeff Neal beat him. What did that look like? Well, I'm going to click this button, and what's going to happen is it pops up in a new window. I have this event playing right now on Fight Pass. So now I can scrub through this fight. I can fast forward. I can rewind. I'm obviously interacting with this. I am watching this fight now. So I went into the tool. I filtered my data. I looked at fights in a certain way, and then I said, let me see that fight with my own eyes. I clicked one button, and now I'm watching that fight on Fight Pass. But if I come back to the data analyzer, I can continue to interact with this data. Not only that, I can export this data as well. On this graphing chart, let's remove some of these filters to get a few more data points. First of all, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fights with data and links that I can watch the actual videos themselves. 13 fights right here where I can see what the scorecards were, see who the referee was, see how many rounds, how he won. I can interact with all the data here, and then ultimately I can click this little download symbol and I can export and save this data. Every single one of these data points, every single one of these filters is available for every single fighter. Again, not only on this card, but future cards. Let's jump out to UFC 305. Well, now I'm on UFC 305. We have Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis. It defaulted to Dricus. Let's jump to Izzy. And I can see Izzy's nickname, the last style bender. His opponent is Dricus. If I want to see a fight-by-fight breakdown of takedowns, well, it's obviously going to be 0. Let's go ahead and go significant strikes landed. 71.75 significant strikes landed on average by Israel Adesanya. If I do convert to rate, we're going to see how many per minute. And then again, we have our plot points. We have the ability to click on any one of these dots, jump out, and watch the fight with our own eyes. I can also filter this by location. I could say, what are these significant strikes at range versus in the clinch versus on the ground? Because I know that Dricus du Plessis is going to close that distance. He's going to come rushing forward, and Izzy might not be able to stay at range. So how many is he landing in the clinch? Well, only 0.29 per minute in the clinch. If I get rid of that convert rate, all right, 3.75 at range in clinch. I can also see the defensive stats as well. I can just stack filters. So now I'm looking defensively, significant strikes allowed in the clinch. So now I know that Israel Adesanya, while he is in the clinch, is giving up 4.875 significant strikes. Every single one of these wild data points are filterable, and you're able to stack the filters to get to whatever conclusion you want. This is the most useful, most interactive, most comprehensive tool ever released in this space. That is an objective fact. the ability to look at any data from any fight in the future, the ability to filter that data to tell a story, the ability to export that data in the graph, the ability to jump from the data to the fight. All that information is right here, ready to go. If you are a premium member, you have access this very minute. You don't have to change a thing. Just go Tools, Data Analyzer. If you're not a premium member, I don't know what you're waiting for. Not only are you going to get what is now the greatest research tool in this space, you're also going to get bets, picks, other tools, insight, information, literally anything you could need heading into a fight weekend.